Hi, I'm Keith Norris, and this is Progressive Goal Planning. We want to share with you some innovative insights on goal planning, goal setting, and goal getting. Let's start with a question. Are goals good? Somewhat rhetorical, of course, but amazingly enough, some people might question this fact. But are goals good? We like to think so. In fact, here's a little quote that I'd like to share with you on a world-class leader in the area of human performance. This is Dennis Waitley. Goals provide the energy source that powers our lives. One of the best ways we can get the most from the energy that we have is to focus it. That's what goals can do for us. Concentrate and focus our energy. So, do you have goals? Are your goals important? You know, sometimes we have goals that maybe they're not important, but are your goals important? I hope so. Are your goals in writing? There was a great study done by some folks at the Dominican University that supported basically three things: the positive effect in accountability, the role of public commitment, and the positive effect of written goals. So let's just take these three things. If goals are so good, why don't we do it more often? Most of us have been trained to set goals. However, most of us have not been trained to achieve goals. So goal setting 101 goes something like this. To set a good goal from X to Y by when. I want to move my grade from a C to an A by next quarter. I want to move my time for running the mile from 7 minutes to 6 minutes and 30 seconds. I want to take my company sales from 50 million to 75 million by next year. So, and of course the SMART acronym: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time-bound. These are all things that is part of common goal setting training and understanding. These are things that you've probably been exposed to in the past. You might have even heard of the concepts of annual goals or quarterly goals. Well, I mean, that's great, that's good stuff. So what's the big problem? Why are we not achieving the goals? If what we have is a good goal setting methodology, what's the problem? Why are we not achieving the goals that we're setting? Let me introduce you here to a concept that we call the cycle of goal setting dysfunction. So in this cycle of goal setting dysfunction, it basically starts out with a goal that may be poorly defined. So maybe it's a goal that is, you know, your last year your sales quota was $1 million, and this year, you know, your managers, they go off to the retreat and they come back and they say, 10 million, that's your new quota. And so, you know, shortly after the hype and the big rah-rah, all of a sudden there starts to be a little fear of failure setting into your organization or into your own mind here. And then as you get that fear of failure, you start to avoid the goal. We call that goal avoidance. As you're avoiding the goal, you start to stop paying attention to the results. So we'll call that inattention to results. As you stop paying attention to the results, of course, your performance starts to slide. And when your performance starts to slide, you start to care a little bit less. That sets the apathy. You know, you just a feeling of who cares? I don't need this job anyways. That wasn't a very good goal anyways. It was kind of stupid. I don't really care about that. And so next time somebody says, hey, let's set a goal, you're like, yeah, I've had enough of that goal stuff. I'm not too interested in that. And so poor goal setting or no goal setting, same thing. And this is a downward cycle of basically a negative cycle that is not reinforcing any activity that's going to help you achieve your goals. So how do we fix it? Secret number one is what we refer to as muscle memory. Muscle memory is a simple concept. I'm sure you have some foundation for what muscle memory is. Basically, repeating an action enough times to where it becomes second nature. That's muscle memory. Another concept here is that I'll share with you is what we refer to as frequency. How frequently you do something is going to increase the ability to achieve muscle memory. So we're all familiar with the famous sports heroes who have dedicated themselves to tireless hours of practice in, you know, 100 free throws in a row, 1,000 swings of the golf club every day. These are the things that the superstars in all of these sports industries do to become successful. It's a habitual discipline of practice. You may have heard the 10,000 hour rule. made popular by the Malcolm Gladwell book in Outliers. But basically the rule goes something along the lines of the differences in talent reflect differences in the amount and style of practice, and not so much just specifically differences in innate ability. Now, of course, some innate ability has a role in this, but practice is what separates that top 1%, and the gold medal winner from the average performer, the A player from the B player. It's a matter of practice. So practice, practice, practice. It applies to hitting golf balls, it applies to shooting free throws, it applies to running races, it applies to so many things in our lives. Why shouldn't it apply to our goal setting? You may have heard the saying, practice makes perfect. How does this apply to our goals? How does this apply to goal setting and goal getting? This is what we're going to refer to as progressive goal planning. In this progressive goal planning concept, we're going to start with basically a small goal. This is going to look like traditional goal planning, but I'm setting a very short goal. So one of the most important things with goal planning, for anybody that has any experience in weightlifting, you might understand the difference that if I'm new to the weight room and I don't bench press a lot of weight, let's say I bench press maybe 100 pounds or 150 pounds or 180 pounds, and somebody walks in and tries to put 400 pounds on me, it might just kill me. If I'm by myself and I drop that on my chest or my neck or my head, it's going to kill me. So setting a goal that is overly ambitious is not going to do any more for your ability to achieve goals than dropping too much weight on your chest is going to do. So in progressive goal planning, we focus on the attainable. Set a goal, basically a short goal, something that maybe it's even something by the end of today, maybe it's something by the end of the week, but basically something in a very short-term basis that you are 99.9% sure that you can attain, something that you're sure you can get there. Focus on short cycles and rapid frequency. So this is something that you can do a couple of times a day or a couple of times a week. I mean, anything beyond that is not necessarily going to start building what we refer to as your goal muscle, strengthening, flexing your goal muscle. So the other thing you want to do with this, that's part of this progressive goal planning methodology, is tracking your performance and keeping score. As you set these goals, are you achieving them? Are you not achieving them? Now, you're not necessarily going to achieve every goal. If you're achieving every goal, you're probably not setting the bar high enough. But you do want to keep score so that you can determine how many of them you are hitting and how many of them you're not hitting. The more successful you get at understanding how much you can bite off, how much you can take on, the more confidence you're going to build in your goal-setting activities as time goes on. So you might start with something that is just the next hour, the next day, or the next week. And as that builds, you start to set longer goals, and your confidence, your ability to achieve those goals increases. So now each time you have one of those little cycles where you set a short-term goal, check your results, look at those results, and then compare that with the overall direction that you want to go in. So some examples where this might apply is, let's say I'm going to school, and I'm really not too sure what I want to do when I grow up. Sure, I mean, if I know that I want to be a doctor, then of course going to school and getting a bachelor's and going to medical school, that makes sense if I understand what the end in mind is. But if I don't know what the end in mind is, and let's say I just have a kind of a general direction, I want to have a successful career, and I decide that getting a 4-year degree is going to be the first step in the right direction. So I achieve that goal, and then when I achieve that goal, I evaluate a new set of possibilities. There is a whole new set of doors that have opened up to me that might not have been opened up before, that I might not have even known about before. So maybe I get done with that 4 degree and I have this real love for medicine. I decide I want to go to medical school. So, or I decide, I actually want to be a lawyer, so I'm going to go to law school. So, I mean, that's just an example where you can set a goal, achieve that goal, and check the alignment with your overall direction or where you want to go. Look at those new possibilities that are available to yourself. Now, as you get better at this, as you get better at setting this habit of goal achievement, extend the duration as you feel comfortable. I mean, it's kind of like a boredom sets in with any sort of an activity, right? If setting goals for the next 10 minutes are not keeping your attention, you want to set some bigger goals, then go ahead, extend the duration of the goals. Of course, there's nothing wrong with setting long-term goals. There's nothing wrong with setting annual goals. There's nothing wrong with setting a 5-year plan. Those things are great. The whole idea of progressive goal planning and this methodology that we're sharing with you is a concept of increasing your ability to achieve your goals, not just increasing your ability to set goals. Goal setting is easy. We can all set goals. I want to be a millionaire. I want a big house. I want a fancy car. Setting goals is easy. Achieving goals is the hard part. And so progressive goal planning is not anything against long-term or strategic goal planning. It's not anything against somebody who has a real clear picture of what they want in the future. It is more a methodology for helping you achieve bite-sized chunks and creating a habit that is going to help you increase your confidence, increase your ability to achieve those goals. So if you practice this progressive goal planning, what you'll find yourself in is what we call the cycle of goal setting success. So it starts with a progressive goal definition. You track your performance against that goal. You get some feedback, you see how you're doing against that goal that you've set, and if you've achieved the goal, how close is that getting you to where you ultimately want to be? You take an opportunity to make some course correction. If you need to adjust the things that you're going after, you do that. And as you do that, you create a sense of achievement. That sense of achievement drives your engagement. It drives your desire to set goals. It drives your desire to achieve goals. And as you do that, you set better goals. You set greater goals. And you're more successful at achieving this goal. So unlike the cycle of goal setting dysfunction, the cycle of goal success is a very positive thing that can improve your outcomes and the frequency of your outcomes. So this is something that's real exciting about this progressive goal planning, is the cycle of goal setting success. If you have an interest in learning more about progressive goal planning, I invite you to check out the website that we have, planplusonline.com/landing page/goal planning. You can download a few chapters of this ebook that we've created, and you can learn more about progressive goal planning. So to learn more about progressive goal planning, go to planplusonline.com/landing page/goal planning.